Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's a very special day because I'm going to be reviewing a dupes palette. Yes, this is a dupes video, and I'm so excited to be reviewing the Alterego Daydream palette against the Huda Beauty Nude palette. So they both come with very luxe packaging. In fact, this is much heavier than the Nude palette. This has embossed raised lettering as well as this does. This feels more like a vinyl felt feeling. It feels very luxurious. It's weighted. All the names are on the back and they're also listed in the front. I have used this. Yes, I've been trying the same look with both palettes and you will know my thoughts at the end. So they have the concealer shade in both of them and we've got all of these shades. 15 shades. This retails for $18 plus shipping. I believe it comes out to $22.50. And yeah, let's see if this is a dupe to the Huda Beauty palette, which looks almost identical. I'm going to hold them up side by side to you guys right now. What do you think? It's time to play. I've put some Coty Airspun powder down so that any fallout is going to be caught by the powder, and because I already did my foundation, I don't want it ruined because I didn't want to look ratchet for this video. So this side will be the Huda Beauty Nude and this side will be the Alterego palette. So let's go ahead and start. I know the look. I've been practicing it for 1 week straight. So we will do the Huda first. I'm going to take an M433. I have all these brushes separated out, and I know that you guys will trust me. I'll show you. They're all separated out into left and right side, and they're the same brush. They do probably have like a small color on them, but they are clean. So the first shade I'm going into in the Huda Beauty palette is going to be Lace right over here. So we're going to put that on the lid. That was one dunk in there. Going into the Alterego, the corresponding shade is Celestial right here. Oh, look at that. Look at the pigment of the Alterego side. That's super impressive. I'm going to roll it up toward the brow bone just a bit. We'll do the same thing with the Huda Beauty. So that was one dunk in there. And I have a ton of pigment here and barely any here. There's a little bit of fallout, nothing crazy, but in the Huda Beauty Nude, there's a ton of fallout as well. I just see, and then this concealer shade is like laced with it. Laced. So I'm going to have to build the Huda Beauty side up to match this side, and they are the same exact color. But this one looks a little more pinky, which is exactly what I want. What I want to let you know is that I followed a YouTuber's specific tutorial, and I wanted it to look very vibrant and rich. And with the Huda Beauty palette, it didn't. It looked muddy. It looked very almost dirty. It just looked muddy and dark purple where I wanted it to be this side. So just letting you know that in advance. I'm going to go build this side up, and I'll be right back. All right, this is the best I could do. This took me 4 layers. This took me 1. Going back into the Huda Beauty with the same brush, because I use only 3 brushes in this whole entire look, I'm going to be going into the shade Tickle. Tap off the extra, and I'm just going in the crease with this. This is more pinky tone rather than a muted lilac purple. That was 1 dunk, and that's what that looks like. In the Alterego Daydream palette, the corresponding shade is called Sunset. Tap off the extra, and we'll be going in with this color. So it's definitely more pink and not so subtle lilac. Again, you'll notice that this side is much richer in pigment. And by the way, these mattes on the Alterego are blending out perfectly. They're not patchy in any way. As you can see, Huda Beauty has patchiness over here. And this side is perfectly blended. As you can see, this is more muted. This is more vibrant. So they're different looks if you want to achieve a more I guess, dark muted purple look, I would go with the Huda. If you want a true, the way it should look on a tutorial online, then I would go with the Alterego, but let's just keep moving on. From the Huda Beauty palette, I'm going to be taking Tease here. And we can dust all the fallout out, and that's what that looks like on there. So this one's extremely pigmented, it looks like. But it's patchy, and I hate that. Do you see what I'm talking about, where it won't lay color in certain areas of my eye? It's bothersome. So that was one coat of that. The corresponding shade in the Daydream palette is Dusk. Not much fallout on that at all, but looks very pigmented. I'm going to put that in the crease. This is also very rich in pigment. This is a lovely deeper purple, which is what I'm going for. So you can see the two side by side. They nearly look identical, except this one on the left, which is your right, looks a little bit more pigmented rather than the Huda Beauty. But if I look down, they nearly look identical, except the patchiness on this side and this side's blending out beautifully. Now, I'm not dogging Huda because I did do a look with her palette. And I just posted that the other day. I'm going in with the Huda Beauty one to try to match that. And I uploaded it, and you can look at that and then tell me which one you think looks better or which one you think is a dupe. So now we're nearly there. This one just seems a bit deeper, but what I'm going to do to remedy that, just to be fair, I'm going to take my Sigma E40 and I'm going to buff out any rough edges that we may have on each eye. And I'm going to clean this brush with my Cinema Secrets in between. If you only knew how long it took to actually put together a well-blended eye look, we would be here for a really long time. Going in now to blend the Huda Beauty, those rough edges. Let's see if they can be fixed. It's still a bit patchy here, and right here it's not wanting to cling, where here is like, well, it looks, we've got to be fair here. Could just be the opacity of the color, could be my lids, but what I prefer, they look the same, but I still prefer this side, honestly. Taking my Sigma travel size E25, I'm going in with the Huda Beauty Nude palette, and I'm going to take the shade Love Bite. So that's what it looks like on the brush, and I want to put that in the crease. Now this is where I really struggled with the Huda Beauty palette, was the first shade and frankly this shade. Because I've laid my color down and then blended inward. And I just want you to see how patchy it is. So I'm going to take that cleaned off Sigma F40 and I'm going to buff through this just to see if we can make it all cohesive. I'm really struggling with this outer edge, and I found that in my previous tutorial, if you go view it, that I struggled with that outer corner to be well blended, and basically nothing can be remedied about it. So we're going to go and do the same thing on this side, and I'll be right back to do it. So taking my full size E25 and going with the Daydream palette, I'm going to take the corresponding shade Sugar Plum, and that picks up a lot of pigment. Tap off. We're just laying down the shade. To me, this one seems just a bit less pigmented, but you know what? I prefer that. Because if I go in with such a heavy hand at first and too much product is put down and I'm still blending this out and it's actually looking fine, then we would have a mess on our hands to clean it up. So nearly identical still. I almost went in on that side. Now to be fair, it's already cleaned again. Sigma E40, we're gonna buff the edges out. Outer edges, I'll go clean this. Back to blend the Huda Beauty side. This is not wanting to blend and it aggravates me so much. Ugh. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this eye look, but you get the drift. This one is much more cohesive and this one's patchy, obviously. And there's nothing I can do about it. This one's just a bit deeper, like that deeper purple. And this one's more of a pinky purple, which is what I initially wanted in the first place. So going into the Huda Beauty palette, I'm going to take a flat brush. And I'm going to take the shade Love Bite again on a flat brush. And I'm going to pack this all over the lid. Because you'll see what I want to do in a second. And this video is going to be long because I'm 100% honest with my audience, and I would not tell you to get something if I didn't think it was completely worth it. I mean, do you understand that? I have nothing to gain. I don't do YouTube for money, so I have nothing to gain from that. And I'm taking another flat brush on this side for the Daydream palette, going into the shade Sugar Plum. That is really pigmented, and we're going to go ahead and pack that on. Same color shade. This one is spot on. I'm just taking it up to the crease. Unblended, let's look. Nearly identical, but this side is packing down a lot more product. The clean Sigma E40, we're going to blend the harsh edges. Blend it all around. Let me clean this brush. Blending this side. What do you think? That aggravates me really a lot. So now what I'm going to do is just take another blending brush. I said I use 3 brushes, but in order to achieve this look, I'm going to have to use a lot. For the Huda Beauty Nude, and I'm going to go into Spanked here. I'm going to try to diffuse this edge, this really harsh edge right here. Just a little bit. Same thing on the other side. Going to be taking a blending brush for the Daydream palette. The corresponding shade is Fawn, I believe. No, it's Sunkissed, I believe. I can't remember. All right, so it's Sunset. And just diffusing those edges. Still quite patchy over here, and as you can see, a lot of fallout and a little bit less here, but we're just diffusing these edges here. So from afar, you can see that this one is much more patchy. This one's much more cohesive. So now we're going to be getting into the glitters. So going in with the Huda Beauty Nude, I'm just going to take Charmed on my ring finger and just place that in the center. This is more of a bronze shade, a true bronze. If you can see that. So there's the bronze there. And in the Daydream palette, we're going to be going into Cloud 9. This is the bronze there. I'm just going to take my middle finger and do that. So here's the bronze in this one. It's a little bit more warm than this one. It's a little more cool. But still, from afar, you would never be able to tell. Going into the Huda Beauty, I'm going to take Daydream on my ring finger here and just place that here. So this is more of like a champagne-y, maybe glimmery light shade. The corresponding shade is Fairy Tale here. And I'm going to pack that on. This is much more pigmented in my opinion. It just looks prettier, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Take it as you will. Going back into the Huda Nude, I'm going to go into Crave right here and pack that on as like this. Corresponding shade in Daydream would be Star-Crossed. I wiped my fingers off on a cloth. So Star-Crossed here, and we're going to pat that on. And one more time with the Sigma E40, just to blend those shimmers in. Cleaning it off. And blending the Huda side. This Cinema Secrets blends instantly. All right, I'm going to go clean up and we're going to figure this situation out and see what side is what and what I think. Well, you guys, I did the rest of my makeup. I went ahead and I applied false lashes and a lip. And so side by side, could you tell that I was wearing Huda on this side and Daydream on this side? Would you really be able to tell? In fact, I prefer this palette 10 times more because this side is too dark for me and this side is much more vibrant, and it looks exactly the way that tutorial came out. When I tried it with the Huda, it was like super dark like this over here and I didn't like it. I wanted it to be much more vibrant, you know, sort of rich purples, and over here is still kind of muddy, and over here is perfectly blended. I'm happy with the shimmers. They all performed exactly the same. I'm just going to swatch here for you a couple of the shimmer shades that I used. One of the mattes and one of the shimmers, and we'll compare with the Huda. So I'm definitely going to do Sugar Plum from the Daydream palette. We're going to swatch it right here. So that's how that matte swatches, which is really good. We'll take the Huda Beauty Nude palette, and I'm going to take a different finger. You can tell, this finger, taking Love Bite. So, I'm going to build that up. This is much more rich in pigmentation, and for me, that's what I prefer. If you prefer something more muted, I would go with the Huda Beauty, but I did saturate that kind of a lot. They're off, but they're pretty close. They're still pretty close. So now I want to swatch from the Huda Beauty. We'll go with Daydream. Right here. So that's Daydream. corresponding shade in the Daydream palette would be, how am I going to do this on the thumb? Fantasy. It's so hard. So much more rich in pigmentation and very, very, very close, but much richer in pigmentation. So you guys, what would you rather pay? $18 for the Daydream palette or $65 for the Huda palette? That is up for you to decide, but in my opinion, they're 100% a dupe, and I actually love the Alter Ego side much better. I prefer it. It's more rich in pigment. It deposits just a lot. The mattes blend out so well. They are not patchy. The shimmers pack a punch. As you can see, I mean, this is the Daydream, and there's Huda. Daydream, Huda. So I really highly recommend you go out and get this before it sells out. It is only $18. It totals $22.50. When you buy the Huda, it totals $70.21. So if you looked at me on the street, could you really tell I was wearing two separate palettes? No. The answer is no. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, the review, the swatches, and the in-depth tutorial I went through to show you the differences between the two palettes. I really think it's just a steal to get the Alter Ego Daydream palette. By the way, I don't think I mentioned the brand is Alter Ego. So this is actually more travel friendly and more compact, and it weighs a lot more. Just saying, it's got that nice friendly mirror and all of these beautiful shades. I would not recommend using concealer shades from either one of the palettes, because even though the Daydream has conceal up here and Huda's is down here, all the shadow is always going to catch in that concealer shade. Prime your eyes the way you normally would, do your eyeshadow, and have a great day. You guys just save yourself some money. Go with the Alter Ego. It's personally my favorite. If you want a more muted look though, go with the Huda Beauty. Just do what you want. I personally am so impressed and shocked that this palette is this good for $18. I would have paid $70 for this, and I would have returned the Huda Beauty if I had it and it came out like this. I would have returned it, but I would have paid $70 for this to have this look. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe on your way out. It is free. Hit that notification bell. Otherwise, YouTube will not notify you when I upload my videos. Leave a comment down below. What do you think? Who has the better eyeshadow palette? Are they a dupe? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Until I see you in my next video. Bye, guys.